Well, a couple of weeks ago, I got asked to do a tool bag loadout, and I'll do it today. I've been real busy. It got really warm. It's over 100 now here in Arizona, so I've been real busy. And today, I gave myself a little bit of time to do this loadout. And I want to talk about, first of all, the bag that I carry. It's a backpack. It's a Tech Pack MC. I love it. I've had it for a couple of years now, and it's been a great bag. It's taken a beating. It looks good still, but it's taken a real good beating. And I'm going to start with what I carry on the outside. On the outside, I carry this little gauge, just the low side, the suction side. And of course, it's not what I check my units with, but I can tell if the unit is lost refrigerant or if there may be a problem with refrigerant with just this little gauge. This helps. I know they have digital ones now with your phone app and all that. I don't have one of those. This is what I carry. I have a hook on it. Sometimes I need a hook on gauges or something when I'm climbing up a ladder. So this hook's strong enough for what I carry. I'm not going to put a lot of weight on it. It's already pretty heavy. And then on this side, I do have my Milwaukee fastback knife. It's taking a beating now, but it's a great knife. I carry my extra blades in here, and it's dirty right now because it's always working. A little bit of Teflon and some electrical tape. Things that I will always use on work orders. I want to clarify something. What I do is I do apartment maintenance. But right now I'm doing townhouses. So the company that I work for, they provide a truck. So my truck is, and the townhouses are all over the city. So my truck is always about 30 or 40 feet from where I'm working. So there's things that I have in the truck, but this is the bag that when I get off the truck, this is what I take with me. This is what'll do, I would say 95% of my work orders. Now I want to weigh this thing. I'm going to use the refrigerant scale. It'll work just to weigh this. So it's 0 now. Just so you have an idea of how much weight is in this bag. And it's roughly about 27 pounds, 27 and a half pounds. So it's not super heavy. It's not light, but it's manageable. I don't carry it all day with me because, like I said, I drive around the city a lot. So I just throw it in the back of the truck or in the back seat, and that's where this thing rides most of the time. So now I'm gonna start on the back. Everybody starts on the front. The reason I got this bag originally is because it had a separate compartment in the back. Now I wasn't really thinking about it's a backpack, but it's really, really useful that it is a backpack because to maintain 3-point contact on a ladder, it's really helpful to have a backpack, especially a backpack that's sealed. Nobody's supposed to be under you when you're walking up and down a ladder, but a lot of times a tenant or a co-worker is standing underneath the ladder holding it, thinking they're helping out. But in reality, if a tool were to fall out, everything is secured on this bag. But if a tool were to fall out, you could hurt somebody or even kill somebody with a wrench that falls off or something like that. So it's good having this bag with a 3-point contact and everything sealed. So it's a great bag. So it does have this extra protection in case one of the straps were to give out. It's got this extra protection here that'll help it from not killing somebody. So I'm gonna start on the back with this thing. The first thing is, the reason I got it is because I always like to have a little tripod with me because of the videos that I do. And a little tripod like this is really, really useful for me. I just set this thing up, put my phone there, and I can shoot a video with just this little tripod that's really small. I could use it as a if I'm showing something or my face. I mean, this little tripod is perfect for that. So originally, I didn't want the tenants, seeing me walking with this thing in my pocket. I wanted to hide it. I don't record in people's apartments, but it's good to have a tripod all the time. So this is the original reason I got this bag. But now that I have it, I really, really love it. Now here in the back, I carry this light, the Husky. It has a really good magnet that also works as a stud finder if I needed to find the screws or the nails where they're at. This thing, I can run it across the sheetrock and it'll hold where there's a nail or a screw. Of course, it's adjustable, sticks to the unit, to a condenser or evaporator. So I can work, in really tight spaces, and this light will stick onto anything that's metal or it'll stand on its own too. So that's a good light. I do have my multimeter. I have various different ones. Today I'm carrying this field piece. It's a good multimeter. I trust it. It's a good one. I always carry some of this tape for when I install or some of this, I don't know what you call this stuff, for capacitors. I do have this thing. We're not supposed to really use these a lot, but sometimes when I'm up on a unit, all the units here on roofs, I need power, so I get off my disconnect, and I can get 120 volts. I do carry a little cutter, shower rods, or sometimes I got to cut a line. Of course, I don't have anything to solder or braze with here, but it's on the truck and I can use it. I do carry a couple of these change cores. Of course, I got a little Milwaukee tape measure. It's always good to have a tape measure. I do screens. I have this little scissor that sometimes I use it. It's not very common that I use it. As a matter of fact, I've never used it, but it's good to have. Have a little inspection mirror. It's always good to be able to inspect whatever's behind the wall or behind the refrigerator without sticking your head back there. I have this where I have a few screws and wire nuts and stuff like that, and this is just for where I bought some electrical tape. I have more. Then I have this set. This is a really nice set of Allen wrenches. I do have metric and standard in here. Instead of carrying the whole set, the whole whatever you call the thing with the wrenches, I have them in here, and this works out perfect for me. Zip ties. I always carry zip ties. A pen. It's always good to have a pen. Of course, you don't need a pen if you got nothing to write on, and I do have my little notepad here where I can write stuff. My thermometer for my multimeter in here. I don't use this that much anymore because where I'm working at, it's nothing but package units. It's gas packs. So I check those different. There's a scale on it where I check my refrigerants. So I can take measurements of my lines, but it's different. The lines are inside a unit. This is a whole different setup. So I go off the gauge that's the table that's set for that. Of course, I got some a few gloves. Sometimes I need to loop something or bypass something or check something, or if I do another capacitor, I can bridge it with that. I use for my phone. I got a little charger here. Sometimes I need to charge my phone. More extra wire. I always need extra wire. This here is to check fuses, the 5 amps and the 3 amps. Instead of burning fuses, I can just loop them, and if I have a low voltage short, it'll trip this instead of burning fuses all the time. Of course, I got batteries for thermostats. What else? More batteries. This is actually solder for circuit boards. Sometimes I fix circuit boards. I do have a solder gun in the truck. And that's basically what's on this side. I'll put everything back in there later. Now this is the side with the tools. Here on the outside, I've got more batteries, AA's and AAA's, and I've got these screws that I use for when the door hinges. When the screws are pretty loose, these are longer. Basically, that's it. There's nothing down here. Now on the inside, I always got to carry a rag. Of course, you want to be able to clean something. Sometimes the roofs are really hot. I throw this down and I put my knee on this. It's always good to carry it. I do fit a drill in here. I use a Milwaukee. I know there's a lot of debate. People like different brands. The reason I use Milwaukee is because of the size. It fits in here, and even other bags that I've had before, I can fit this drill in there. It's an impact. I'm really careful the way I never like to strip screws, so I use it with a lot of care. Of course, I do have my Malco tips, which are the 1/4 inch and the 5/16. This one's on an adapter. Sorry about that. I got a shorter one, a longer one. Got an adapter. I do have this 90-degree angle here, so if I have really tight spots, I can I can fit in there with this thing, and my drill's out here. So these are things that really help me, especially when you're working on AC units. You don't always have a lot of space. I do have my two Nipix channel locks. I love them. These I used to carry, instead of this one, I used to carry the bigger, the blue one. I forget the brand. Now I found this one, and I carry these two. It's amazing how much even plumbing work I can do with these two channel locks. I do have a plumbing bag that I use for plumbing, but I mean, I can do a lot with just these two Nipix channel locks. I love them. They're great. They're honestly they're amazing. I do have a crescent wrench. I have a really cheap one. It's really hard to use. It's always opening up, but it does help me in a bind. I mean, it's something that I do use sometimes. A magnet. What I have is when I check temperatures out of a vent, I check with this. Even hot water or anything like that, I can check temperatures with. But the thing is, I'm really short, so I can barely reach the vents with these things, and I look like a fool standing on my tippy toes trying to read temperatures. So what I did is I super glued a little washer down here, and with this magnet, I got an extension here, so I'll just stand down here and I'll check temperatures, and of course I can read it. It's at an angle where I can read it. And like I said, all I did is I just super glued a washer down here, a metal washer, and that's it. But it's really important for me to carry something to check temperatures with, and this works perfect. This is I don't even know the brand. It wore out. And of course my mirror, a flathead. Gotta have a flathead all the time. This pry bar and a flathead, and a Phillips. I only have two screwdrivers with me. I don't feel the need for more. I know a lot of guys carry like 20 or 30 of them. Everybody's different, but I just carry those two. And then I do carry to check voltage. I know this is not the most reliable, but it does help. I do have a couple of, this is probably the only thing I have repeated in this bag, a couple of these thermostat screwdrivers. I have a file. I don't know why it's in there, so I leave it. A service wrench. I only work on package units right now where I'm at, but sometimes I get called to other properties where they have splits. And of course I need a service wrench. Now, this is my favorite Klein tool. It's a wire stripper, it's a crimper, it's cutter, needle nose. It's just perfect. I love it. This is something that's always in my bag. I do really use the stud finder. I use this thing a lot. Anytime I'm gonna cut into sheetrock or anything like that, instead of trying to guess, where I'm looking at, I can find the studs really easy, the magnets. Of course, a magnet is very useful for a lot of different things. Now, I do have here my, this is my key to the locks on refrigerant caps. My 5/16, I was using this wrench a lot this winter on the gas valve, so that's why this stays with me. This is to clean the flame sensors. I have another one of these. Take out cores. And now this tool is really important. Now, I showed you guys my Allens, and what I use them with is this little wrench. This is just perfect. Now, another reason I don't carry a whole bunch of screwdrivers with me is because somewhere in here, I have different size of screw stars and different size of. This one's got the. And I'm really bad with sizes. I see them and I know which one it is. So I use this tool with these. And it works out perfect. And this little setup avoids me carrying a whole bunch of screwdrivers that I don't have room for. This little box, just carry extra stuff that I use on work orders and air conditioners. Now with this bag, I can fix refrigerators, stoves, almost anything. I can do a lot of plumbing, even with these tools right here. I can do a lot of plumbing. It's not the ideal, but I can do a lot of plumbing with it, with just those tools. Let's see, what else do I have in here? Oh, you guys know what that is. I got a little. I just sharpen that thing. It's just a point. Just never know. You always use stuff like that for different things. Have an extra for my drill. This socket is for when I take off compressors. This is the size that I use. A little stubby, of course. Let's see what else is in here. This goes up here. Long screws and bolts and stuff like that you'll always use. Now let's look at these little bags. This here is for when I take off the blower motors. I know this measurement goes on this thing. Nope, actually goes on another one. But this is for blower motors. The 1/2 inch. And then here I just have a whole bunch of little different tips and stuff like that. And instead of carrying a whole bunch of screwdrivers, I have all these tips in here that are not organized, but well, that's what I have. This goes here. Now, I know everybody has different setups. This is my setup. I know people are going to say, well, you need to carry booties with you and stuff like that. I do have that. I have that in the truck. We don't use those a lot, but I do have them. This is just an outlet tester for GFCIs, more batteries. Just random stuff that gets used a lot. More wire, batteries. Well, my core should have been in here, but something happened. Yeah, they're probably down there, but I don't trust them anymore. Once cores are loose and jumping around with your tools, and I'm gonna throw some new cores in here. I don't know what this thing. I have another adapter for HVAC. I think that's it. I was trying to find a cap for this thing because now I need to put some new cords in here. I know the cap's in here somewhere. Anyways, that's it. This is my Tech Pack MC. I love it. It's a Vito. Vitos are great backpacks. I mean, I have a few in the truck, different kinds. This is the only backpack that I have, and this is an amazing tool. This is a bag that you'll buy. Once you use Vitos, any other bag, just really not even worth it, because you'll buy a bag that'll last you a year, that'll cost you half, then you spent double, and this bag will last you years and years. Anyways, that was my video. I hope you guys liked it. Last video I did, my tools were all rusted, and people were saying you should have cleaned your tools and stuff like that. I don't need to clean them. I use them every day. These tools are very used. They're clean because they get them out of use, not because they're in storage. So last video that I did, people were saying you should clean your tools, and I don't need to clean them. They get clean out here in the job site.